Today, we're going to be checking out 4 things that completely changed how I view Germany. This video is by James Ray, so shout out to him. Link to original video will be in the description below. But with that being said, let's see what we got.
But I was too afraid to pass anybody on the Autobahn. I felt like any slight move of me being in the left lane would have totaled the whole vehicle. I think that there are a few things this trip.
Okay, I just want to comment on that. I mean, for tourists actually being on the Autobahn for the first time, I mean, that must be a bit scary for your first time ever. Like, you have to get used to everything first, to be honest, and then you get the feel of the road and how everyone in Germany actually drives. Because, yeah, it's different to other countries for sure.
To Germany that I wound up realizing were massive culture shocks to me that I wasn't clocking before. And some of them I knew of and I had already experienced, but I didn't realize the gravity of how important some of those things are, right? And there are some mundane things, some of them are actually pretty big, and we'll get into the details. I'll start off with saying this trip was very insane. You guys know that I had a camper tour and whatnot, and it didn't go as planned, is what I'll say. It did not go as planned. However, I will.
That does not sound like a good thing, to be honest. If things do not go as planned, bro, that is things do not end up well.
Say this, I learned a lot, and I got to drive for the first time in Germany. I drove 4 hours, and I know I should have driven longer, right? But I wasn't comfortable at first, and by the time I did get comfortable, it was the end of the trip, and I do have a lot to say about that. So let's get straight into it. 4 things that blew my mind coming to Germany that I didn't realize were or were not a thing. The very first thing I'm going to talk about has to do with your laws on killing wasps, right?
Hang on a minute. Wait a minute. I want to see that.
I'm going to talk about has to do with your laws on
how killing bees can cost you up to 50,000 euros in Germany. Oh my god, bro. Are you... Oh, damn, bro. I didn't even know such thing exists. And it says, under Germany's Federal Nature Conservation Act, it is prohibited to harm or kill specially protected animals and insects, bees and wasps included. To be honest, bro, wasps, I got stung by those things like 2-3 times. I remember 2 of them were really, really painful. It was one right behind my ear, and the other one was right on my ankle. Honestly, worst pain ever felt. You do not want to get stung by those things.
On killing wasps, right? Vespin. So I made a video on this years ago, I'd say about 3-4 years ago, about how ridiculous it was to get arrested possibly for killing wasps in Germany. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, bro, like, they're pests. You got to get rid of them. And it's not like they're all over the place. In some points of the year, they are literally everywhere and they follow you. They're very annoying. But something I noticed was Germany low-key has some of the friendliest wasps I've ever seen in my life. I was waiting at train stations. I was waiting in parks. When I would walk through parks with my friends, when I would be at gas stations or Tankstellen and whatnot, there would be wasps there, but they just buzz around you. They don't really do anything. I mean, I know they're capable of biting you or maybe stinging you or whatever, but not once. I mean, I've never been stung before also, but the thing is,
oh, he's never been stung before. Oh my god, he does not know how it actually feels. Okay, bees are not that strong, but wasps, bro, they are the worst ones out there.
these wasps are so tiny, they look like bumblebees, right? It was weird to me. I'm like, huh? What? And the entire time I kept calling them bees, and everybody around me is like, no, those aren't bees, those are vespin, those are wasps. And I'm like, huh? In Korea, you guys know I live out there, the wasps look like hornets. They're huge. They are huge. And I heard that their venom is so poisonous. Now, don't quote me on this, but it doesn't take very many stings for you to leave this world. You know what I mean? So when
Can you actually die from a sting? Okay, that is something I actually did not know, and I should have probably taken better care of myself when I was playing with those wasps.
look back at that law that was like, oh, don't kill the wasps, they're there to help the environment and whatnot, it made more sense, because I'm like, oh, these wasps don't even really be bothering people like that. I mean, they do bother people as far as like following them around, sometimes they crawl on them and stuff like that, but they really won't sting you or do anything unless you do something to them, you know? They're very transactional from what I saw, because as long as I didn't swat them or anything, I'm chilling. But in
Chilling like a villain.
Korea, if that wasp is having a bad day, you're having a bad day. You could just be in its flight path and it's wraps for you, you know? So I thought that was a little strange, because I didn't realize how significant that was. Even in America, the wasps are very hostile. But in Germany, they seem at peace to me. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. That's just my experience. The next thing that I didn't realize was so, like, as important as it normally was the fond, right? Now, obviously, we talked about fond like a bunch of times, right? But particularly on this camper tour, we all had cases and cases of water bottles and whatnot. And every single time I tried to throw it out, because it's different, right? The very first few times I flew to Germany, I was in the city. So whenever I was done finishing a water bottle or anything that had a fond logo on it, we set it outside of garbage cans. Well, we were on the road in these campers. So obviously you can't litter and throw them outside of the vehicle. We stored them, but when we got to rest stops and stuff, I'm like, oh, cool. Let's just like, you know, throw these away, throw these bottles away and stuff. And everybody would yell at me. They're like, no, save it for fun. These bottles are money. These bottles are money. And I'm like, what? I just want to keep the camper clean. I want to keep the camper clean. We have like 15, 20 bottles rolling around the camper. Can we put them somewhere that's not inside the camper? Can we put them, they're empty, by the way. Can we not like hoard bottles? But then it was harped on that you need to save these bottles and stuff, because again, they're a lot of money and you can help somebody out with that. One of my buddies on the trip actually wound up collecting most of those bottles, and he saved them so he could give them away to someone who actually needed them. And I didn't realize how significant that was. You do get a lot of bang for your buck for turning in each of those plastic bottles or even the glass bottles that have the fond sticker on it. And to me, I thought that it was something that was applied more in cities and less in like rural areas, or if you're on the road, because it's like, okay, we get that there's fond, but like, I'm still gonna throw this away. And I'm like, okay, cool. And that leads into another thing that
Okay, so I just want to mention, like, comment something on this, that this is actually a really good sort of thing they actually do in Germany. I don't know in what other countries they actually have this sort of recycling system, but bro, imagine just like, I got a bottle right here, you know? I have a bottle right here. And I just throw this in the trash, to be honest. So imagine you can take this to a machine and actually get money from it. I don't know how much money it actually is, but still, you're helping the environment and you get something back in return. So that is a fair deal. Let's have a quick sip. All right, let's keep going.
Oh, that was a really big deal. At the end of the camper tour, we had to clean out the campers, and there was a lot of things we had to throw out. And oh my gosh, I thought calculus was hard. You guys' recycling system is diabolical, bro. Like diabolical. Y'all have like 5 different bins to recycle things in, which is great. It just makes things a little bit more difficult, because I'm like, oh man, like, all right, is this cardboard box that had food in it supposed to go in the cardboard box bin? Is it?
Bro, I always get so confused with the exact same things, bro. Like, yes, it's cardboard, but there's like little pieces of food in it. Do you still recycle that sort of stuff? I've never understood this stuff.
Supposed to go in the waste bin with where all the food related items are. I'm very confused. I don't know what goes where, and I needed help. I felt like I was taking an exam and I needed to like copy off somebody's paper, because I didn't know what the rules were. I mean, I've reacted to so many different like recycling videos that I should know at this point, right? But experiencing it is a different story. Now, I know you guys are probably like, well, where were you throwing your trash the first like 4 other trips? You know what I mean? I mean, in very easy to sort out garbage cans. The places that I threw my trash out initially, right, were cans that were clearly labeled, okay, boom, like this is general waste, general blah, 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 and they were in public areas. So I'm like, okay, too easy. But in this, we wound up parking the camper, well, both of the campers at one of my friend's places in Berlin, and there were 5 different areas or 5 different types of cans. And I was like, whoa, dude, this is insane. So in America, where it would have taken, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes to clear the van, toss everything out that we didn't need, it took like 3-4 hours trying to play the guessing game with what went where. Yeah, there was that. And then finally, right, my favorite, I can talk about this forever, driving in Germany. Oh my goodness.
Right, in Germany, they drive on the right side, yeah? Yeah, they drive on the right side. I'm also used to driving on the left side, so if I ever visited Germany, bro, this is not the place for me. This is definitely not the place for me to be driving, so...
I did not want to drive in Germany for several reasons. It's a new country to me, right? I've never driven in Germany. I actually have never driven, I guess I've driven a little bit in Korea, but only on base, so that doesn't really count, you know? I didn't want to, like, you know, mingle in the traffic and stuff like that and potentially bump into somebody or, you know, not understand certain signs because I wasn't familiar with the traffic signs in Germany like that. There are a lot of similar signs that we have in America that are just universal signs worldwide. But then there's other signs where I'm like, ooh, okay. Now, my first time ever touching the steering wheel of a vehicle was going from Berlin to Hamburg, which was almost 4 hours with how slow I was driving. Now, for any of you watching this video, you would have gotten there in probably 2.5 hours, but it's me, so, I basically had a hard time weaving through the city because I didn't want to hit anybody. I was waiting for the right time to turn. But let me tell y'all, there's so many different layers to this cake. Let me break down the first layer. You guys' streets are too small. Okay, the roads.
Oh, yeah, that is a small street. Like, it is very, very narrow. I mean, even those curves I see right down here, I mean, bro. This is risky.
Are too thin, and driving a big vehicle like a camper, oh my gosh. I was afraid I was gonna scratch heaven and earth on the sides of the vehicle with how small the streets were. I managed to finesse the vehicle out there without damaging it. However, it was difficult weaving through the city. And then of course too, you're driving in a place like Berlin, so you have to be very mindful of things like pedestrians running across the road randomly, and then cars doing whatever the heck they want. Fortunately, I learned how to drive in a crazy area in the United States, so I had experience with defensive driving. That wasn't too bad, but defensive driving in a big vehicle is a bit different because your reaction time can't be that quick, you know? So just because the vehicle and stuff like that and the whole law of inertia stuff, whatever, right? So that was an issue, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, better luck next time, right? The Autobahn. Y'all, I drove on the Autobahn for the first time, and I wish I recorded a video for you guys. I was driving, so you can't have your phone and drive, obviously, and I was super locked in. First of all, I stayed in the right lane the entire time. The
right lane, that's the slow side, right? Yeah, I think the right lane is the slow side.
I was too scared to pass on the left lane because when I tell y'all, if it said you
looking for a whole
can go 120 km/h and higher, I stayed at a little under 100 or at 100 km/h. I know you guys are like, yo, but that's dangerous too. I was in the right lane and there was nobody in the right lane with me besides other slow vehicles that were driving about my speed or a little bit faster, and they would just pass around me if I was driving too slow. But I also did not want to risk driving in the left lane at all, not even to pass, because people were going so crazy fast. They were easily going 180 km/h, 200, 500 km/h, you know, in the left lane, booming past me. Like, I remember at one point, I was following the flow of traffic, right, for a long stint because I finally warmed up to being on the Autobahn, and I'm like, man, like the car is a little like slightly wobbly, like it's losing some tread on the road. Let me just look at how fast I'm going. I look. Would you believe me if I told you the vehicle was going 170 km/h? I'm like, 170 km/h? Huh? Oh no. Oh no. 170 kilometers an hour in a big vehicle, okay? Scared, very scared. All the vehicles in my lane were going this fast too. I was the slowest vehicle in my lane, and what was more insane was the vehicle in front of me was pretty slow.
Okay, but I feel like if he actually goes on the Autobahn again, he could do a lot better than the previous time he was on it. Because, I mean, it's experience, right? That's all it needs, bro. After a few, like, times, I mean, you'll get the hang of it. So maybe you should try that again.
And the car behind me was on my butt, like just riding up on me. And then there were cars zooming past me in the left lane. So I couldn't pass the car that was in front of me because it was just trucking along going 170 km/h. So that's not really slow, but they were going like, you know, whatever.
I like how he says that, come hard.
And then a few paces behind that vehicle was my vehicle, and I'm like, okay, like I'm just trying to follow the flow of traffic. And then right behind me was this car that was on my bumper, bro. And I'm like, you could pass me. Eventually the vehicle did pass me, but I was too afraid to pass anybody on the Autobahn. I felt like any slight move of me being in the left lane would have totaled the whole vehicle. I would have spun out of control. I wouldn't be here. You guys would be talking to a ghost. Matter of fact, all of you guys would be exorcists or some kind of medium, because that's the only way you would get this video. Okay, so it was insane, and I was, you know, obviously terrified the whole time. Shout out to Siri for guiding me. Okay, the update on Apple Maps is insane. I mean, they broke it down so somebody who could only read Braille would be able to read the roads viciously good. You know, I was like, wow, this is insane. This is cool.
He does seem a bit too scared on the road. I mean, you see him with both hands on the wheel. I mean, really focused, constantly looking at the GPS. I mean, to not take a wrong turn or anything. So he's really, really like into the driving right here.
You know, so as far as where to go, that wasn't really the issue. It was how to navigate through traffic. But I will also say this, after all of that complaining, that was the most safe low-key that I've ever felt at the same time. Everybody drove like they had some sense. Let me elaborate. In Korea, that's not gonna be a thing. Bus drivers drive like they're in mini coupes. They drive like they're in coupes, racing on a racetrack for bus drivers, right? And in America, people just do whatever the heck they want. And if you mess with them a little bit, or you piss them off too much, they might put a few holes in your body, in the body of your car, and in your body.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
you get what I'm saying.
That is crazy.
On the road in Germany, yes, there were people that were a little bit aggressive, and yes, there were people cutting people off, but it was very, like, it was the safest way I've ever seen it. It wasn't hectic. Even in the city, people, quote unquote, driving crazy per se, that was the most like organized, structured driving I've ever seen in my life. Even when it looked like all chaos was breaking loose, everybody just knew what to do, where to go, and how to adapt to other drivers on the road. Insane. Not saying that car accidents don't happen, but I can also see that it might not be as common as it is in the United States or Korea. Very shocking for me, because I'm like, whoa, what is happening? So I definitely appreciated that, because now it made me feel like even more of an amateur driver, which of course I basically am. And I was very terrified to even get slightly involved in the left lane of traffic. Of course, one of the first things that...
If you feel comfortable in the right lane, just stick to the right lane, you know? There's no need to go on the left lane, like the fast lane. Stick to your comfort zone, and that's just the way to go.
My German friends were telling me is like, remember, when you're driving, it's not America. You can't turn right on red. And it took every muscle in my body to follow that rule, because every time I stopped at a red light and I was in the right lane, I was gonna peel off and turn to the right. And obviously that wouldn't have worked. So I had a good time. I learned a lot. Things were definitely very, very different to me, very shocking. And when I come back to Germany and stuff like that, if I ever do have the opportunity to drive around, it'll be pretty cool to see what happens next and see what other interactions I can, like, you know, encounter and stuff like that, as far as like the culture goes and whatnot, and go from there. It's also funny too, because the Tankstellen, right? That was the first time I've ever filled up a vehicle in Germany. And I remember asking, I'm like, oh, okay, like, can we pay with cash, or does it have to only be like, you know, can we pay with card, or does it only have to be cash? And they're like, dude, obviously you could pay with card, you could pay with Apple Pay. I'm like, you could pay with Apple Pay
That's
at gas
the first time I heard that as well. Surprising, right? That's surprising.
stations in Germany? And everybody looked at me like I lost my rabid mind. And then I realized, y'all don't have card readers on your gas tank outside. You have to go inside to pay for your gas.
Oh, okay.
Unless maybe that's not the case, and there are some gas stations that do have like a reader on the actual like gas pump that you can pay there. Because you can either pay at the pump in the United States or in Korea, or you can pay inside. But all of the gas stations we went to, you could only pay inside. So let me know in the comments down below if there's gas stations that you could like pay at the pump and not have to walk inside and go like, oh, blah, blah, blah on, you know, tank this, you know, because that was interesting for me too. Anyways, that's enough rambling for me. I need to pack and get out of here. It was awesome sharing my experiences with you guys. Let me know if you agree with any of these points. I will talk to you soon.
Wow, so it actually seems like James Bray here had a wonderful time in Germany, except a few things that probably shocked him quite a bit. But yeah, overall, I mean, this is a lovely experience. This is something I should definitely do. Maybe when we grow a lot more in the YouTube community, we will go and I'll do a vlog myself in Germany. But yeah, is there anything else you guys want to add to this video? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like, subscribe to the channel. It really, really supports me a lot. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful, amazing day and see you on the next one. Peace out.